Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Um, I wanted to come to you today to give you a recap about my date last week. And I also went out with him again yesterday slash today, and I had a good time. Um, I feel good about the situation. Not too up, not too down, but just feeling very measured and feeling very balanced about it. Um, so last week I did a live where I was getting ready for my date and I was running late, but I wanted to chat with you all and let you know, like, just do like a get ready with me. And I met him at the lounge. Um, well, it's like a restaurant with a bar and a lounge and like live music. So I met him there. He had got reservations for us. Um, it was a nice dinner. It was in an Italian inspired restaurant, and we ordered dinner. He ordered a bottle of wine, and it was a pretty good conversation. Um, it was pretty lighthearted. We talked a lot about travel and some of the places that I wanted to go, he wanted to go. My birthday is next month. And I mentioned to him that I wanted to go to the Caribbean. And he was like, wow, we should go for your birthday. And he was kind of serious about it. He was serious about it. We've been talking on and off about it like throughout this from last week until this week. We've been talking about it. And like which island we want to go to. I'd like to go to the Eastern Caribbean. He'd like to go further south towards South America. Um, so we just, you know, are gonna decide on that. Um, but yeah, dinner was nice and dinner was pretty pricey. The bill was like $700 and I don't know why. I don't know how the bill got to be $700. I think um the bottle of wine. We talked to a sommelier about what we were eating, and he suggested a bottle, and he just ordered it. He didn't look at how much it cost. So, um, I think that's how the bill got so expensive. Um, because he ordered some type of meat item. I don't know. I don't eat meat, so I don't know what that was exactly. It wasn't steak. I think it was veal. But I ordered a basic pasta with mushrooms. So I don't know, maybe that was like 40 or $50. It wasn't that much. But we did have I had one cocktail. He had multiple, and then the bottle of wine, and then we had dessert. Anyway, long story short, the bill was like $700. And he left a big tip. And then it was time to get the cars from ballet, and he slipped me some money to tip the ballet guy. And I kind of knew from that moment that um this was going to be a good situation for me because I did not have to I didn't have to ask about it or anything like that. He just was ready to he was just ready to take care of the situation. So, paid the ballet, we chatted while they pulled out the cars, and when I got home, he texted me, that he really enjoyed himself and that I looked beautiful and I was so easy to talk to, and that, like, he really enjoyed it, and he's glad that we met, and, he can't wait, um, he can't wait to see me again. Um, maybe like the next day or the day after that, so that was a Friday. Um, so it was somewhere between Saturday and Monday. It might have been Sunday, but it was shortly after that date. He booked a dinner at another restaurant. We had kind of briefly mentioned it, but he booked reservations there for dinner, and he said he wanted to do the tasting menu. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know that I really had in my head what that would be. Um, but I said, sure. I mean, I'm always up for an adventure. I know that restaurant. It's one of the nicer restaurants in the city. Um, that sits up like high, like in like a skyscraper, so you can kind of see the whole city. It's downtown. So I kind of knew um about the restaurant. So I said, sure, the tasting sounds great. Anyway, long story short, this restaurant is in a hotel. And so I don't know if we were talking about it. We might have been talking about it on the phone, but we were thinking, oh, well, there's a bar. There's actually two bars. Well, I think there may be more than that inside the building. And we were thinking, well, let's go to the bar. It's like a lounge and after dinner. And so, like, oh, well, then it's getting pretty late and we shouldn't be driving. So he said, how about this? How about I book a room at the hotel? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And then he says, well, I'll book two rooms. You'll have your own room. There'll be, no pressure, no funny business. You'll have your own room. And so I thought, okay, but you know me, I'm very skeptical of guys. So I'm just waiting. I'm giving everything the side eye, and I'm kind of on guard a little bit because I feel like sometimes guys tell you something and then they try to like switch things up at the last minute, or they'll tell you something and they'll be like, oh, I couldn't get two rooms, or oh, well, whatever. So I'm like, well, if he really does this, um then I'll know he I won't know anything really, but I'm just trying to see, are you going to keep your word of what it is that you told me that you're going to do? So maybe the next day or the next couple days, he was like, oh, give me your email address. I'm going to send you the hotel confirmation and you can check in whenever you want. I asked for early check-in and I booked a corner room for you. Like, make sure that they give you the bigger suite. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he does text me, excuse me, he does email me the confirmation, and it is for two rooms, and everything is as he said it would be. Long story short, so that's this weekend. So that's Saturday. So Saturday, I kind of was getting a late start. Long story, I'm not going to get into why. I'm always late, but I'm not going to get into why of all of that. But I was getting kind of a late start because I was going to try to watch a basketball game with him. We were going to try to go to a sports bar, watch a basketball game before dinner, then get dressed for dinner, and then do like the evening that we had planned. But he ended up watching the basketball game. I was running around like getting everything ready. I bought Friday night. Yeah, Friday night I ended up buying a new wig. It was just a miracle that I found this really cute wig. I mean, it was a miracle because I had ordered two online just because I just tried different colors, and one of them looks like Ronald McDonald, and it looks like a Party City wig. It was just not cute at all. And then the other one, it just didn't look like the picture. So, um, so I went to this local store, like that's not too far from my house. They happened to be open late on a Friday, go figure, and they had a beautiful wig, like a beautiful wig in there that was just reasonably priced, and I was like, "Wow, look at God. Look at God." So, I got my wig I'm getting all my stuff ready, um, at home, and I've got my primary outfit, and I've got a backup outfit, and then I've got clothes for the next day, and, of course, all my stuff, the makeup, the this, that, and the third, all of that to, like, get ready for, dinner. Because I put a little tiny bit of makeup on before I went, but I didn't put a lot of makeup on, honestly. I was pretty barefaced. When I went to the hotel, I'm like, I'll put on makeup right before dinner. So, so I meet him, I check in, everything's fine. My room is it's nice. Um, I get dressed, well, we chit chat, we talk. He had ordered um some type of package, where we could have we could have a dessert at one of the restaurants in the hotel, and they also sent champagne to the room. So we had a couple glasses of champagne and we talked, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting dressed now. So he left and he went to his room and he got dressed and I got dressed and we went to dinner, we did the tasting, we did we did, we did like a wine tasting as well. Like we paired wines with the food, and he opted to do the upgraded one, and so we did that, and it was nice. It was really, really nice. We had good conversation. It was just very he's easy to talk to. Um, and then we left and we went to the lounge, and we left there and we went to another bar and we were just chatting. I think by this time I'm probably drinking club soda because I'm a bit of a lightweight these days. And then after that, he was like, "Well, do you want to finish the champagne?" But my thing is, I'd already decided, like, you're not coming in my room, so that was not going to happen. I said, "No, let's go to the lobby. Let's go to the lobby." It's a really beautiful lobby, by the way. I said, "No, let's go to the lobby. Let's go to the lobby." So we go to the lobby and we talk for hours. And granted, there was a spring forward, so that kind of like put us an hour in advance. So it was like almost 4 a.m. by the time we were like, "Oh my God, we should like go to bed. We have a whole life tomorrow. We gotta get up." I really wanted to go to the hot tub in the morning. That's really what I wanted to do. And we were gonna have brunch, and I'm like, we need to get going. Um, so we left. He walked me to my room, gave him a hug. He went back to his room. I shower. I get to sleep. I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, "Hey, are we going to the are we going to the hot tub?" It took him a while, I think, to wake up and see my text. But we eventually chit chat and decide, okay, we're gonna do brunch. And then he tried to book us uh, a massage at the hotel, but the hotel was completely booked. So he ended up booking us a massage at a nicer hotel not far away. And so, and I'm like, well, I know that they serve brunch there. Why don't we just have brunch at that hotel? And then we can do, the massage and do the spa. And so we do that. We head over, we have brunch. We're running late to our massage, but they're like fully booked. The spa is booked back to back, so um, they couldn't adjust the time. So we had to just box everything up, and kinda rush over to the spa, but man, that was a really I got a really, really good massage. I mean, it was so nice. Um, I would go back, actually. It was really, really nice. And I would try to book with that same masseuse too because he was very talented. And then I hung out in the spa. I got in the hot tub. I got in the hot tub as I wanted to. Um, but this particular spa, they don't have like a co-ed space. So we did do the couples massage in the same room, but then after that, he had to go back to the like men's area and then I went back to the women's area where I just kind of hung out and, you know, had a glass of champagne, I had some snacks, I lounged around, got in the hot tub. It was nice. And then I had text him, "Hey, hun, if they have any pedicures available, you know, can you book me one?" And then I went out to actually ask because I wasn't sure. So I asked the front desk if they had any availability for pedicures, and they're like, "No, we don't have any availability today." So I went back and I texted him. I said, "Don't worry about it. They don't have any availability today, so I'm just gonna get in the hot tub and then I'll shower and I'll come out." So that's what I did. By the time I got out, he was like, "Hey, um, we can go get you a pedicure somewhere else. I found a place in the area that's highly rated and I can take you there." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. That was so sweet." So we left that spa and he took me to that nail salon and we both got pedicures. And it was fun. We just chatted about all kinds of random stuff and we talked a little bit more about this Caribbean trip that we want to do, um, and other random stuff. And we had fun getting the pedicure. And I picked out a color, and he was like, "That's gonna look so good on you." And it did turn out like really really cute. So we had fun, and he was like, "Well, what do you want to do now?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I actually have a whole child that I need to go get back to. So I'm gonna have to love you and leave you right here, dear." So we parted ways, and by the time I got my daughter, I just ran some errands, took her out for ice cream, ran some errands, and um he ended up sending me a long text message about how he's never met a woman like me before, and you know I'm smart and pretty and so easy to talk to, and just he had such an amazing time, and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I really had fun too, and I'm really enjoying this, and I'm glad we met. Um, yeah, I think the biggest thing with this particular man, because I could, I mean, I don't share the bad dating profiles, and I don't really share a lot of that stuff because I don't have time to do it, because I mostly just block, 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 block anything that's not working or that's not going to be compatible to me. I just block it and move on for the most part. Um, and so I've been very patient because, at this stage in my life, I know what I like. I know what I'm used to. You know what I mean? Like I just know I want an easy situation for me. I want a situation that flows, that feels effortless, and that's what I desire. And so sometimes it's just a matter of being patient, and I think that that's my takeaway. From the situation. Um, there are guys that I have met that don't put this level of planning and detail into dates and plan and finding like, putting together and planning a date for me. They want to meet me at happy hour. They want, you know, for me to meet them for drinks or tea or coffee or something that I'm not going to do. And it's either one of two things. Maybe it's one of a few things. It's either you don't have it, you can't afford to take me on a nice date. That could be it. It could be the fact that I'm really not your type. So you don't want to spend anything on me. You kind of just want access, but you don't want to over, invest because it's not really what you want. It could be, I already said that they didn't have it. Oh, it could be that you're dating so many different women that you can't afford to take any of them on a proper date because it's just too many women. So, any of those scenarios do not work for me. I like to do nice stuff, and that's what I prefer. That's what I want to do. And I need a man that can pay for it easily. And it's not going to stress him out. He's not like figuring out what bill he's not going to pay because dinner was $1,000, which dinner was over $1,000 last night, and that was just at one place. That doesn't even include all the other stuff, but somebody that can just pay that easily, and it's not a big deal, you know, because they would have been at a nice dinner with or without me because that's what they do. That's how they live their life. So when you, or for myself, as I have turned down so many situations that, um, as I have turned down so many situations that don't align with me and they don't, it's just not going to work for me. That has made it easier or it's made it more of a no-brainer to say yes and engage with a situation that does serve me. And it's fun. I mean, I don't want to put too much um sauce on it like this is the one we're going to ride off into the sunset forever. I don't know that. I don't even know that this Caribbean trip is going to happen. I don't know. I don't know any of that and I can't predict the future. But what I can say based on my, I guess you can almost say 3 dates because we had a date on Saturday, then we woke up and we had another date on Sunday morning into the afternoon. So, kinda like the last date was kinda like a combination of date number 2 and number 3. And we probably text, um, probably every day a little bit, and then we did talk a couple of times throughout the week, and that was nice. So, I can just base it off of talking, the dates that it's fun and it feels low pressure and it feels like he likes me a lot. And that's an important factor in it all. Um, so yeah. Roadman says, you go on a cruise every month. Are you coming? I don't go on cruises. Um, I just don't have a desire to do a cruise. I do like boating, but I'm more like a yacht girl. Um, I'd rather charter a boat and I'm open to doing deep sea fishing, and in fact, we talked about doing deep sea fishing yesterday. I'm open to that. I like fishing and I've never been deep sea fishing though, so that I mean, that seems like it would be a fun adventure. But I do love a good yacht. I do. So I'll boat like all day. Like, I'll go to a destination and I could do all day or I could do a half a day on a boat. I don't wanna be on the boat for, like, 2 or 3 days. I don't even wanna do that because I know some people, like, they'll charter a boat from Miami to Barbados or something or, and they'll just, like, stay on the boat and, like, the boat is the trip. I don't wanna be on the boat that long. Good grief. I wanna get off. I don't wanna be on the boat that long. So and I like a good sailboat. I was into sailing for a bit of time. So that's the kind of boating I like to do. I'm not really into speed boating, but sailing old school with, like, hoisting the sails and all that kinda stuff, not that I know what I'm doing, but if somebody's on the boat that they know what they're doing, I'll help, and I can follow directions. But, cruising is not for me, but I say kudos to those who like to do it, I think you live your life and have fun. You say you go tuna fishing off the cruise ships. Um, am I coming? Thank you for the invitation. I don't know. Um, but thanks for the invitation. But that's something worth, looking into. So anyway, long story short is I'm having fun and I'm looking forward to the next date. Um I'm wondering what he's going to come up with because I don't know. It's like we've kind of I feel like this last date is like set the bar so high. Like what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? I mean, that's kind of a lot. I mean, it was a lot, but it was fun. And it was very wholesome. I can always tell, like, I feel like a guy who really likes you is not gonna wanna rush you to do something that is too fast. But a guy who's kinda sees you as more indispensable, like, he's not gonna care as much because he's just trying to shoot a shot wherever, and if you say no, or if you're offended, oh, well, who cares? He's talking to, like, 50 girls, so what? You're offended, who gives a damn? Like, there's 49 other girls that could possibly say yes. So, but in my experience, when a guy really likes me, they don't come at me any type of way. They kind of come at me in a more respectful way. That isn't to say a man is a man is a man. A man is still going to kind of put those feelers out to see what's possible. Like, hey, you could always come to my room if you want to, but they're not gonna shove it down your throat like, "No, you have to," like, they're not gonna, like, try to coerce you to do something or convince you to do something, or if they sense that you're like, "No," they're just gonna be like, "Okay, anyway, moving on, let's change the subject." Out of respect and out of a desire of not, like, 1 night or 2 nights or a temporary thing, but, like, they like to keep you around for a bit and see where things can go. Um, anyway, that's just my personal experience, and I find that to be a good sign. I find that to be a good sign. So, we will see, and I guess I should probably I don't know, I feel like I don't now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I don't really have the mental capacity to really plan a date. I've got some personal admin things going on at home, and I've got parenting stuff, and I've got stuff at the school. I've got a bunch of things going on at work. And health-wise and everything, and I just don't feel like even me trying to think about it right now, I'm like, I wonder what the next date should be." I feel like my brain, it just it's drawing a blank. I don't know. I can sh I right now, I have the capacity to show up, and I could even show up beautiful because why not? I like getting dressed up. He loved my dress last night. Um, he loved my dress. He thought I looked amazing. I'm just glad I could still fit in that dress. That was a miracle. But yeah, I could still fit in the dress if the dress was cute. It's like a little pink dress. It's kinda short, not too short, but kinda short. Just in showing the collarbone, but not too much cleavage. Classy, sexy, cute, sultry kind of dress. And, it was a big hit, and I liked that kinda stuff. Really liked getting dressed. Um, um yeah, I like getting dressed up. So that I can do. I can show up somewhere and be pretty, but I can't plan all the logistics and the details. I don't have the capacity to do that. I don't wanna do that right now. I felt like I kinda had to do that with my last relationship because, um, that guy, all he would do is just, he would make dinner reservations, but that was pretty much it. And a lot of times it's somewhere I don't even wanna eat, but he didn't really plan more elaborate types of things. So if there's really something that I wanted to do, like, "Oh, I wanna go to this art show," or "I wanna go to this comedy show. I wanna do this, this, and this, or this," I would have to kinda, lead him, like, "Okay, please book this. Please do," I'd have to really guide him, or else I knew that the only thing we would be doing was, going out to dinner, and that's it. How do I feel about that? I don't know. I mean, on one hand, I wanna get what I want. I wanna do what I wanna do. So if that means if I need to plan it, then I'll plan it. And on the other hand, gee, it sure would be nice if the man could plan a really, curated, thoughtful date. That would be sweet too. But nonetheless, that's in the past anyway, so I'm just remembering. Um, I'm just remembering. Hey, Beauty for Ashes. Hey, hey, hey. I was just giving a recap on my date, which was it spanned the course of a Saturday and a Sunday. So I wanted to give an update about that. And I really wanted to give an update on the first date before today, but I know one day I had my laptop set up. This was sometime during the week. I had my laptop set up. I had the microphone. Right now I'm on my phone, so the audio probably sounds different. But this one I was gonna record on my laptop. I had the microphone. I was gonna try to work on like a thumbnail and stuff like that. I must have keeled over and just fell asleep. Darn near fell asleep on the laptop. That's how tired I've been. So, I'm like and then every day, I'm like, "Okay, today's the day I'm gonna come do the update," and I'll just fall asleep, just exhausted, or I'm like, "Nah, I'm not even gonna try to do it because it's probably gonna be incoherent, I'm too tired, maybe I'll even fall asleep on the live, like, no, I'm not gonna do it." So, that's kinda why it's taken me, um, so long to do it, but today, I'm like, "Today I got time, why not? Let me go ahead and touch base, update, check in, see how folks are doing, um, offer a little bit of encouragement." Oh, there's another important thing that I totally forgot to mention, and this is another good sign. Now, this sign and it's so funny because my second date, I think I might have called him Yo-Yo Daddy. Possibly I called him Yo-Yo Daddy, but I don't remember. I kind of given people nicknames of, people I've dated. But this guy, like the guy that I was dating consistently for a while, and then and then on and off, and then we were consistent again, and then we were on and off. Now, regardless of that on and off period and some major challenges that we had in that relationship, and ultimately we're not together anymore. Regardless of all of that, This man, for the most part, just worshiped me and treated me like royalty, and pretty much did everything I asked him to do. So I don't feel bad about the relationship, like it didn't work out, but it wasn't like it was this contentious fighting or he was mistreating me. He did some fuck shit. I'm not gonna say he didn't do no fuck shit, but as far as not not calling me out of my name, not mishandling me or mistreating me, none of that ever happened. Um, and so our first date, no, 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 no. That was our second date. It's crazy because our second date, it wasn't in that same restaurant that I went to with this last guy. I should give him a name. I'll call this guy Attorney Bay. So it's not the same place that I went with Attorney Bay. But it was in the same building. And I remember when I was with, I'll call him Artist Bay because he was an artist. When I was with Artist Bay, I was like, well, we were waiting on the valet, and and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go. I've got to like pay the babysitter. I've got to take care of the babysitter when I get back. And he's like, oh my god, you hired a babysitter? And he just started shoving money in my hands, you know, just cash. And I was like, wow, thank you. I did not ask him. And that was kind of like a sign of like our relationship. We went shopping that next day. That was so much freaking fun. I had so much fun because on our date, I was telling him, I was like, oh, I need some running shoes. And he was like, I'd love to see you tomorrow. Let's go shopping. Um, and the rest was history. We had a fun little run. Okay, so with Attorney Bay, similar. We were talking earlier in the week, and I'm like, well, since we're going to stay at the hotel, I'm going to have my babysitter. She's going to do overnight. She's done it for me plenty of times. Um, it'll be fine. And he's like, oh, okay, no worries. Whatever it is, I'll take care of it. And so, excuse me. So when we were, in each other's presence, I didn't bring it up. Um, he brought it up. He's like, "Oh, did you check in with the babysitter? Is everything going okay?" And then he gave me 200. I was like, "I think the babysitter will be like 400." And he gave me 200. And he was like, "Well, this is what I have right now." And I was like, "I don't know what to do with this. Like, does he think like I should pay the other half? I don't know. Oh, well, I'll deal with this later. I don't know. I'll deal with it later. I'll see what I'm gonna do later." So I just let the time pass. And then he just had run out of cash. So he was like, oh, while you were getting dressed at the spa, I went to the ATM. I got the rest of the cash. And he just put the money in my hand. He put the other half of the money in my hand. And he's like, okay, make sure the babysitter's good. Like, are you sure this is enough? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Like, I think so. So then we go to the nails place. I get the pedicure, blah blah blah, and then we go back to where the other spa was to get my car out of valet. And he's like, "Well, here's an extra 100 for the babysitter just in case that wasn't enough," and just puts the cash. And it's like that similar thing of just like putting cash in my hands that I didn't ask for. Um, I appreciate it. It makes my life easier. It makes my life easier, and I'm grateful. Beauty Ash says, I'm happy to hear you're doing well and thriving. No worries. Keep taking care of yourself and your priorities. Everything will continue to work out for the best. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. A woman in Ashe. That is such the truth. And, this is the taking care of yourself. I mean, it's a, what do I wanna say? It's like a work in progress. It's like a experiment because I'm experimenting with things and and sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing too good at it, honestly. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing well in that area because I don't wanna be tired all the time. I just don't. I don't wanna be tired all the time, and I feel like I am. Um, I don't wanna feel like I need to escape my life either, and I kinda felt like that today, like, I was, like, in a whirlwind, and I'm, like, in a carefree environment, and it's like, "Oh, yay, yay, yay," and then I get my daughter, and it's like, "Oh my god," and then I'm like, go back home, and I'm like, "Crap, I forgot to pick up this prescription," and then I go to the pharmacy, and they don't have all the prescriptions ready, and then I'm like, "Okay, let's go kill some time," and then go to the store, and then go back for the pharmacy, then go get gas, and then trying to, like, finish up laundry, and I've got all these house maintenance things to do. It's just a lot. It's a lot, and then I'm just like I start feeling the weight of my life, um on me, and I'm like, "There's gotta be a better way," because I have this vision of, feeling abundant with energy and having more time for leisure, having more time for philosophical thinking, really, um, and just being, like, in nature, writing and creating. Writing and creating and sharing, on platforms like this one, and maybe, like, looking into other mediums, for sharing, because on a completely side note, I think from a political standpoint, I don't I think the best political contribution I can make would be to conceptualize or somehow express in a modern day way of some sort of like a matriarchal value system. I deeply believe that the issues we are facing in humanity are largely based on a patriarchal framework, surface level thinking, quick fixes, asserting dominance upon others, um, aggression, a lot of short term thinking, wanting to replace humans with machines or just wanting to control the means of not production, but of creativity, like humans are like herding cats, right? I mean, they're just all over the place. Um, you can't control another person, right? And so there's there is an inherent vulnerability in creating relationships with other humans because the other humans can leave you, the humans can die, the humans can move away, the humans can change their mind and decide, you know what, I actually don't love you anymore. I'm over this. It happened. And matriarchy accepts that because matriarchy accepts an ebb and flow of life. Matriarchy understands that there are 4 seasons, you know, and winter is not evil. It's just a period of time. And there's value in winter. There's value in winter. Matriarchy doesn't say spring good, summer good, winter bad. No, because like matriarchy says all yes, thank you, and more. All of it is good or not good. It just is. That's matriarchy. Patriarchy says we've always got to be producing. It's got to be spring all the time. And if it's not spring and summer, something's wrong. And so when you look at what's happening, like how people approach the stock market, it's always got to be like massively going up. Um, the companies have this, so the big Fortune 500 companies have this ambition to like be forever in growth mode. Like plateau is evil. And in matriarchy, plateau is not evil. Plateau just is. What's wrong with having a company that's holding its ground? If the employees are being paid well, if there's still stockholder value, the unions are thriving, the customers are happy, it's a safe place to do business. And matriarchy says, yes, that is good. Patriarchy says, you're wrong, it's bad because it's not growing. It can't just be. So, anyway, I feel deeply that there's a lot of the things that's wrong with society is because of the patriarchal framework of relentless growth, short-term thinking, and willing to like sacrifice anything for the growth. Things like greed and hoarding and disparity. Matriarchy is all about fairness and equity and sharing, um, valuing children. Um, children are children are held in high regard in matriarchal society because they are our future. Matriarchy is very present and future oriented. Not futures in 6 months, but like 7 generations down the line. And when you make decisions about how resources are allocated on the planet, how do we have access to fresh water? What is the quality of the air we're breathing? Those are all things that matriarchal leaders think about. Um, and it's for 7 generations into the future, not just the next shareholder report. They don't think in matriarchy doesn't think in quarters. Matriarchy thinks in generations. Your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, your great great grandchildren. Patriarchy thinks about me, my family, what I want. Matriarchy thinks about your children, our grandchildren, what is in the best interest of our community. That's matriarchy. So I don't really want to be too involved with the actual politics of it all, but I feel that the philosophy behind the politics are the egregiousness of it all. It's because of the framework, the philosophical and spiritual framework. And we need more women, and we'll be the first ones, but others will come along, the children, the men. There are some matriarchal men out here, you know. There are matriarchal men. They are few, but they do exist. Um, we have to start figuring out ways to infuse this thinking and um, viewpoint into the masses, and maybe that just begins with coalition of the willing and who we can access now, and then growing it over time and spreading the philosophy so people know it's a viable place, it's a viable way to live. And I think that kind of like developing the framework would really help. um possibly with like people to apply it to their lives, you know? That would be super helpful. Like right now, well, I haven't been working on this project for a while, but I started a project of like estate planning and, setting up a personal office to support this for myself. And I'm just looking at things like that. Like how would matriarchy inform what I'm doing here? How would it inform? I mean, it can inform so much, from how teams are set up to how companies are run to like what companies' values are. It's endless. How we raise our children and how we choose to take care of ourselves and others. Um, yeah, so I would like to have more time to really delve into that, and I'm looking at a lot of these goddesses from around the world and just finding the through lines with some of these feminine um the feminine divinity you know deities around the world, and how what is the through line and what is some of the attributes of some of these feminine entities. um I think that might end up being some aspect of some of this matriarchal framework. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I'd like some time to actually look into it. So, um so yeah, that was a nice and very, very fun tangent. But ultimately what I was talking about was just taking care of myself, and I find it to be elusive. It's very difficult. Um I need to work full time right now because of my life obligations and my financial goals. But maybe I don't. I'm prayerful about that. Like and maybe I may start more diligently praying about that. Um, like show me the way. I want to be economically sound, and then also I need time for living and parenting, and I want to just have more flexibility, and I want to have more vitality, and I want to feel more vibrant. And sometimes, like, I don't have the answers. I don't know how that's possible. But what I do know is that I've had experience when I focus on something, um, I can bring it to fruition. I can find a way for it to be a creation in my life. I can find a way. So I just got to stay focused and just keep my eyes open and be prayerful. Um, or maybe even just like create an opportunity for myself that meets my needs. And that might be something that I do some type of way. Rather it's finding the right firm and building my own schedule and figuring out exactly how I'm going to contribute, and maybe it can be on a part or more part-time basis. Um, but yeah, those are some of the things that I think about. But what I can tell you in all of those endeavors, um, having somebody supportive that you're dating can be very beneficial because it can contribute resources towards helping you achieve that, and other types of physical support or connections, those kinds of things. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back. Um, so I'm excited that I met someone that is highly resourceful, um, in some of the more immediate things that I have going on, if not monetarily, like monetarily, but then also information wise. Like this is someone who's highly connected, um, and can put me, in some, they can just guide me and they can connect me with what I need to be connected with, which is so helpful. Have you ever dated someone who's like totally useless? Couldn't see their way out of a paper bag? I mean, that's frustrating and it feels burdensome to always have to be the one with all the solutions and all the answers. That's draining. But when you can be with someone who you can have an issue and they can talk to you about a solution, you know, they can reassure you that it's going to be all right and here's why. Man, that's valuable. That's so valuable. So, anywho, I will leave you here. Um, Thank you for tuning in and catching up with me. Um, Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and like the video. And I'll be back sooner or later. I'll be back with another video. We might have to get into this Miss Lorient again and kind of recap some of the stuff that I have, maybe like a couple more things to say, and then I think I'd be finished talking about it. Because I don't, it's kind of not worth, I think not worth talking about. I have like a couple more things to say, and then if there's more of the same shenanigans, I can just kind of refer back to my original take because it, hasn't really changed. So I don't feel the need to add in a bunch of new commentary because whatever craziness comes out that may be new, my old commentary will apply. So that's that on that. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk soon. Peace and love.